Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Naked Truth. Trisha Hershberger here. And before we jump into this week's topic and I introduce this week's guest, yes, that's right, it's a guest episode. We haven't done one of those in a while. I want to thank our Naked Army vloggers from last week who all made Naked Truths of their very own. Those are Kavaja, Chris, Nathan, Thomas, James, Paladin, Lawrence, Dominic, and Christopher. If you want to check out their Naked Truth vlogs, you can do those by clicking the links in the description below. All right, now to introduce this week's guest. This week we have CLAIRA HERMET on the show, who has had a lovely career in the UK as both a television and radio host, but reached out to me because she also does Naked Truth vlogs. Let's welcome CLAIRA to the show.
Hi! I'm giving you a little clap as well. Thank you for an amazing show.
So if people at home are unfamiliar with your work, what would they know you from?
So I'm from the UK, from London, and I've been doing for the last few years television, radio, but lots of online interviews, some kind of hidden camera stunts, BBC Radio, BT Sport, and then just my YouTube channel, really.
So you are a busy, busy lady, and I thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come be on this show. And you reached out to me originally because of the Naked Truth connection. And for any of CLAIRA's fans who might be watching this, when I started my Naked Truth series a few years back, I was doing it because it was my way of rebelling against feeling too branded or feeling like, I needed to look and sound and be a certain way for the career that I was working in. I also work as a television and on-camera host. But for me, it's really all about just being yourself and unfiltered and letting your flaws show and being completely okay with that, which is why I do this no makeup, wet hair, au natural. And I know that for CLAIRA, you had a little bit of a different reason for starting your Naked Truth series. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I started the Naked Truth for loads of different reasons. But I had a preventive double mastectomy and reconstruction of my breasts nearly 2 years ago now. I lost my mum and sister to breast cancer, and I carry the BRCA1 gene, so it gave me a really high chance of getting the disease. So I decided to have that procedure done and have that operation done. And during that time, rather than falling out of love with my body, I fell in love with my body, I should say. And when I went back to work after having the operation, it didn't make sense anymore. So I quit my job, I left London, and I've been traveling for the last 10 months. And I think while I was on the road, I really looked back on everything, and I was looking at my comments and kind of really feeling like my body didn't really feel necessarily like my own. And I just kind of got to the point where I'd had enough of being viewed by my body, if that makes sense. So instead of people seeing my personality first and seeing who I was first, they were just seeing a pair of boobs. And I just thought, this is my body. I'm taking ownership of it. I want to do things that are really honest and really truthful. And the best way for me to do that, and the most vulnerable way for me to do that, is to sit in front of a camera, butt naked. Whether people can see it all or not is not the point, but it kind of peels away all of your layers, and you're there, laid bare, and you're being honest and telling the truth. So for me, it was kind of moving away from entertainment stuff, and I guess a little bit like you as well, more to who I am and being truthful with myself and truthful with my audience.
So now I'm curious, as someone else who does a Naked Truth series, when people stumble onto your series for the first time, I don't know if you encounter this, but I certainly do. People who say, oh, it's naked because you're trying to emphasize the sexuality of the nudity and use it for views, when really the impetus for doing this at all is the opposite, and to take the sexuality out of it. So how do you combat that with your viewers in your community?
So for me, I think I've just done, it's not up yet, but I've done a video called Nudity, the Naked Truth. And I think it's really important for me to try and get people to grasp and to understand that I don't feel like I am not my body. Please don't judge me on my body. There is so much more to me. And I understand that really in Western culture, especially the female form, is really objectified and very much sexualized. But that's not how I see my body. I didn't choose for my body to be seen and viewed that way. And people can use the argument, yeah, but it's human nature. But it's not, because if you go to tribes in different parts of the world where women are naked all the time, the men don't care. It's not that kind of sexualization of the female form. And I felt trapped and enclosed by it. And I just try and explain that to people and try and be really honest with people. And at the start of most of my naked blog videos, I haven't done that many so far, but I kind of reiterate that as well. Like, it's not about, you know, it's got nothing really to do with nudity. It's to do with me just wanting to shake that, because whether I sit there naked, Trish, or whether I sit there clothed, I still get the same comments. At least this way, it's me taking ownership. And yeah, to me, it's not sexual, because surely that's in the eye of the beholder. So it says more about the person watching than I think it does about me.
So you've been traveling a lot lately doing My Life, Your Hands, which is your latest adventure. Tell us a little bit about what made you embark on that journey and how that's been for you.
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's been a massive, like, learning experience for me. And at the start, it was very much like, right, it's going to be audience focused, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. And then what I found as the trip went on is, I totally neglected to realize that I was going to be in Spanish speaking countries and all my audience are not in those countries. It became more about me. And I think that for so long, like I was just saying, I've been on that hustle and on that grind that maybe I didn't even know who I was anymore. So I still did videos and blogs and all of that kind of stuff. But instead of like pushing as hard as I had envisioned that I'd be doing, I kind of just came back a little bit and actually enjoyed myself. And now I will be going home in a few days. So I'm right at the end of this 10 months now, and I'm going back home to see what happens.
And you're currently in Canada. That's the part of your journey you're in now, right?
I am in Toronto, and I just went today and got my fingers tattooed here, here, and on the inside of here as well.
Oh, I've got a ring tattoo as well. Which of your finger tattoos hurt the most? I've heard that the finger hurts a lot.
The inside, the inside here hurt the worst. I think not of all my, I've got some other tattoos as well, so not of all of them. This one, even though this one hurt a lot, I've got two big pieces on my torso which weren't so bad. But I would say the inside of my finger was pretty killer. It says, "I am that I am."
I love that. That's so cool. Okay, on my Naked Truth series, I usually take viewer suggested topics, and I have one here that I think applies that I would love to hear your answer on. So this one is from Naked Army member Nathan, who says, I've heard so many things about how loving yourself is the greatest thing that can happen to your life, but I have trouble just wrapping my head around the concept. When it concerns other people, it's very easy to go out of my way for them, but when it concerns myself, I barely do more than the minimum. I've never been able to look in the mirror and say, I love you. I don't even know where to start. So, what would you say to Nathan?
I think one of the biggest things for me in falling in love with myself was certainly when it came to like my body to start off with, was instead of looking at my body in the way that I guess society has kind of taught me to, as this, this object that should be this, this, and this, I started to realize that the parts of my body, or my body as a whole, is the very thing that allows me to go and do all the things that I want to do. It's the thing that allows me to hug my friends, is the thing that has allowed me to climb volcanoes, is the thing that allows me to get on a plane in the first place. And instead of looking at it and comparing it to kind of these pictures of what it's supposed to look like, I started to look at it and go, like, I used to hate my feet. I love my feet. Without my feet, I could do any of the things that I've been able to do. And I started to actually really look at my body and appreciate it for the fact that it allows me to go on this journey called life. And I think, like Nathan saying, I've done some horrible things to my body and kind of suffered with eating disorders for a long time and really abused it. And it's never let me down. So even though I've done all of that crap to it, which all of us do, we eat badly, might drink too much, you might smoke, we kind of do these things to our body, we work too hard, we don't get enough sleep, and we don't look after ourselves. And then to look at your body in a different way as this friend, basically, as a friend who is always there to support you. And that's how I kind of started seeing my body. And then I was able to, I'm just looking at my feet at the moment, then I was able to kind of say thank you to my body and to start to love it that way. And I think it's the same with our thoughts and beliefs as well. We can be so hard on ourselves. We have these constant beliefs that have been there for a long time and we think that they're true. And actually, when we start to question whether or not they're true, we realize that actually most of them aren't true, and we live our lives by them. And once we can do that and they start to fall away, things really start to change. So fair enough, sometimes looking at yourself in the mirror and going, I love you, might seem a little kind of fake, but I find like writing is really therapeutic and very helpful, and writing lists of all the amazing things that you love about yourself. And it might start off with really small stuff, like I make a great coffee or whatever it is. But the more you do that and the more you look at yourself, in the same way that Nathan looks at his friends and finds things to love about them, you can find things to love about yourself. And I think it's really important to start a relationship with yourself and to work on it like you do any other relationship.
I think you absolutely hit the nail on the head when you said to think of yourself as you think of a friend. If you think of yourself as another one of your friends, then you would do those things for yourself that you would do for them. You need to take care of yourself. You need to think about your needs, because if you're not taking care of your own needs, then who's going to? I had a friend tell me that once, and for me, it had applied to a plethora of romantic relationships that weren't working out. And I was thinking, man, why can't I find someone that'll take me on a hot air balloon ride date? That's what I want. And my friend said to me, like, why are you waiting for someone else to do that? You can take yourself on a hot air balloon date. And I thought, you're absolutely right. And so, for me, that was that I needed to pay more attention to my wants and my needs and stop waiting for other people to do them for me. And I think a lot of us, because we think, well, I'm so nice, I do that for other people, we maybe make an assumption that other people should be doing that for us, when really the first person who needs to love us is ourselves. Once we do that, our happiness increases, our confidence increases, and then we can better give that kind of love to other people. It all just snowballs. So, Clara, what's next for you, for your series, for your channel? What's coming up next?
So I'm going home, and randomly, I'm probably going to be taking over a restaurant, doing a vegan and vegetarian menu for the restaurant, which I'm excited about. But also, for my channel, I've got 2 new interview concepts. One of them will be Naked Truth interviews, which will be naked interviews, and the other one is called Success. So it's just going to be people that I can access who are very successful, from musicians to actors to creatives to whoever I can get my hands on, and just talking to them about their success. And I find that a lot of people that are successful somewhere have some kind of faith, and in whatever it is, or have just always had some kind of inkling or knowing. And so it's kind of just to really get into those nitty gritty parts of them and find out what it is that's helped them get to where they have, in the hope that it can then help other people who want to follow in their footsteps or just need some help to be more confident, more focused, and ultimately more successful. And I really want to make documentaries. So when I get I will be going to see some production companies, and some various people at broadcasters that we have in the UK, and seeing if any of them are interested in the documentary titles that I have.
Well, that sounds awesome. That sounds really exciting. I can't wait to check out your future documentaries and your interview series. And for anyone else who wants to check you out, we'll be following here as well. I say we as the Naked Army. So speaking of the Naked Army, my question to the Naked Army this week is, how do you embrace what life has given you? Whether your way of loving yourself and embracing life is through creating art, charitable contributions, stripping down and making content on the internet, whatever it is that makes that feeling possible for you, share it with us in the comments down below or in a Naked Truth vlog of your very own. And Clara, thank you so much for joining us today. If people want to find you on the rest of the interwebs, where can they do that?
So it's really easy. It's just CLAIRA HERMET, which is spelled CLAIRAHERMET. The only one that is different is my Instagram, which is Miss CLAIRA HERMET. Thank you for having me, Trish. It's been amazing. And hopefully next time I'm over in the US, I get to see you in person and you can be on my success interviews.
Thank you so much. All right. Have a good week. Bye.
Bye.